as you said there, Eddie, the guy that walked past was Dale Cardoza, and I think that's where the real battle's going to be. Can Crabtree and Hallis from Huddersfield hold Roper and Cardoza from the Leigh Centurions? That's going to be a crucial battle. Roper and Cardoza, very, very dynamic, and can literally do anything. Expect the unexpected from these two.
We can't hear a word you're saying, Paul, because of these fireworks that are crackling over the top of us here. And I know that all the junior giants who are watching on the television back across the Pennines in Huddersfield will be enjoying this moment. There's the Huddersfield fans. At last the fireworks are over. So, sorry, you were saying?
Well, it was a nice cue. Expect fireworks from Roper and Cardoza. I think that's the real key to this battle. These two players are of Super League standard and can play to a very, very high level. Both very fast, very dynamic. And in Dale Cardoza, you know, the steal, the buy of the year from the Leigh Centurions. He's been around a number of clubs this season, and he's looking to finish this term on a high.
Before we check the team sheets out, I just want to mention the two coaches. Paul Terzis, allegedly, if he doesn't win this match, he's out of a job. I think that was said earlier in the season. It's either Super League or bust for Paul Terzis. But what about Tony Smith, the famous Smith family, Steve-O?
Well, they don't have much luck, do they? In fact, I don't think any of the Smiths have ever won anything. Never mind a final, grand final, or anything at all. But and maybe that's something that may be playing on the mind of the coach Tony Smith. And I'll tell you something now. He may not be there next year if he loses.
Well, the presentation party, Richard Lewis, Executive Chairman of the Rugby Football League, Steve Russell, Chairman of the Northern Ford Dealers, and His Worship the Mayor of Halton, Councillor Glyn Redican, now being introduced to the players of both sides. So it's a good time really for us to check out the way the two teams will line up. Here they are. The Huddersfield Giants, first of all. They have Ben Cooper at fullback, Effin O'Hare, Earl Crabtree, Graham Hallis, Marcus St. Hilaire, their three quarters, Stanley Jean, maybe the key man, and Chris Thorman at scrum half. And the forwards, Mick Slicker, Paul March, Jeff Wittenberg, David Atkins, Rob Roberts, and Steve McNamara, their captain. And on the bench, Heath Cruikshank, Chris Molyneux, Darren Turner, Andy Rice. The coach, as we've said, is Tony Smith. Now let's take a look at the Leigh Centurions lineup. And there's bags of experience in this. Neil Turley at fullback, Liam Felton, Dale Cardoza, John Roper, Oliver Marnes, three quarters, Willie Swan, and Bobby Goulding at halfback. And the forwards, Vila Matautia, Paul Rowley, David Bradbury, Simon Baldwin, Andrew Isherwood, and Adam Bristow. And on the bench, Gareth Price, John Duffy, John Hamilton, Dave Whittle. The coach is Paul Terzis. Well, fantastic occasion here. The pitch magnificent, the ground looking as though it's full. Going to be a record crowd. Let's join our commentators upstairs. Phil Clark is alongside Bill Arthur.
Wonderful atmosphere at the Halton Stadium, cranked up a few notches by the national anthem. The fans, as Eddie said, of Huddersfield and Leigh, as well as Dewsbury and Workington here to make it the big occasion of the NFP season. And Carl Kirkpatrick is the man who has charge of it, and this, you sense, is going to be quite an opening salvo for Kirkpatrick to take charge of. This is it, a whole season's hard work going on the line for the Giants and the Centurions. These clubs started way back at the start of December, pre-season training, even before then, last year, to prepare for this occasion. And now it comes down to this grand final and the ultimate prize for the clubs, promotion to Super League. So, batten down the hatches, hold on tight, because Phil, I reckon we're heading for stormy water.
I agree with you, Bill. You know, when these two sides played 3 weeks ago, the score remained pointless for well over 20 minutes. Such was the intensity and ferocity of defence. I think tonight that level will just rise higher.
It's Leigh Centurions in the white strip with the red piping who get us underway. Huddersfield with first touch of the ball and first greeting from the Centurions forwards. Plenty more of that to come, you reckon? There are some tough, uncompromising characters out there. Among them, Vila Matautia. Back in the Leigh line-up, and there is Matautia. Another tough cookie alongside him, David Bradbury with the white boots on doing the tackling. Jeff Wittenberg. Here is the Geordie lad, Chris Thorman. Thorman, who started his sporting career with Wallsend Boys Club up in the northeast. Wallsend Boys Club, where Alan Shearer, Peter Beardsley and Michael Carrick learned their football, but it's Thorman who puts that kick in, who came to rugby league, and it's Leigh Centurions now with possession.
And I think Paul Terzis will be happy they didn't concede a penalty in the first 6 tackles. Last week against Batley, the discipline was very poor and the penalty count helped to keep Batley in the game. They've got off to a good start today.
It's McNamara's kick, in fact, and it's Leigh now with Bradbury. Bradbury, a storming game last weekend against Batley. It needed to be because Leigh Centurions only just came through that playoff game to qualify for this grand final. 35-28, beating the battling Batley Bulldogs. Here is Paul Rowley. Rowley, one of 4 ex-Huddersfield players, but going nowhere. That'll be the turnover. It was on the last.
One of the differences between teams in the Northern 4 Premiership and those in Super League is how they finish a set of possession. Their options they take on the 5th tackle. That wasn't the best from Rowley, but what a hit there from Goulding.
And Bobby Goulding wants this to be a big occasion. The 30-year-old has certainly been around. He's been in more clubs than Steve-O, I reckon.
I'll tell you what he can do though, whatever club he goes to, is at times provide some inspiration. He has done in defence.
McNamara takes the Giants up to the halfway line. There's Paul March. Thorman now stabs the kick in, and Felton just in 2 minds, or he's in 3 minds. Now that one, I think he's knocked it on, and Leon Felton there exhibiting the nerves that are surely affecting these players.
So it's hard, isn't it, to appreciate watching on television just what pressure can do to you. He would seem unchallenged, but he's made a mess of it and given a wonderful attacking position to Huddersfield. Leigh can't afford to do this very often, and he needs some help from his teammates here now not to concede a try.
Paul Terzis won't be pleased to see that position given to the opposition this early in the proceedings. And there the penalty goes against the Leigh Centurions for offside. Now then, what will Steve McNamara, the Huddersfield Giants captain, decide on? He's gone for the 2 points, get something on the board early doors here.
Yeah, I think a relief for Leon Felton. He'll think 2 points isn't bad for that mistake. Talk about players with experience. When you come to big games, they're very often the ones that carry you through. Steve McNamara is one of them. Tony Smith, the coach of the Huddersfield Giants, just sending on a quick instruction. But most of his work's been done long before today.
Keep it tidy, fellas. Keep it tidy, keep working. Jeff!
Steve McNamara, 132 goals to his credit this season. He always has been a remarkably consistent goal kicker during his long and illustrious career. Has scored over 1,700 career points as McNamara, and looking for 2 more here to get the Giants off the mark in this game. And this should be meat and drink to McNamara. It is, and well, maybe Leigh will think that they've got off lightly, as you say, because they really did hand possession and position to the Giants on a plate there.
I think it's just worth putting into context how good Huddersfield have been this year. They've been in a division below where they wanted to compete, but on average they've conceded less than 10 points in defence, and in attack for the last 3 months haven't failed to score at least 6 tries in every game they've played. So that's a big effort really for Leigh to come away from that with only 2 points.
Now here's Rob Roberts. We had fireworks before the game. I think you can guarantee there'll be fireworks on the pitch as well.
Well, again, going back 3 weeks, there were several incidents really that had to be looked at by the referee. Goulding was stretchered off concussed. They also lost the other half-back, John Duffy, on that occasion.
Thorman,
good kick, great kick there. Turned Turley round. Now then, what's the chase like?
It's not bad. Turley's going to get out of trouble, but there to meet him. Oh, he's done well as the Centurions fall back. He's done very well.
The other factor to look at is how quickly the white jerseys get back as well. see several of them still behind the Huddersfield players. It's amazing. Oh, one-on-one strip from Hallis.
And that's experience for you. Graham Hallis on Leon Felton. And again, the Giants have a great field position. And here is Jeff Wittenberg now. Beg your pardon, it's Mick Slicker. Crabtree. Crabtree is collared by Baldwin. McNamara. Wittenberg, that was. March now, sizing up the options. McNamara flips the ball out and it's going to be scooped up by Felton. He's knocked that one on, I think. The referee has waved play on. And belated consultation, but I feel sure that Leon Felton knocked that one on when he went for the ball.
And then I think Bill, the lead player was held back as well. There's about 5 or 6 decisions we could see here.
There you go, he's right. The penalty will go to the Centurions. I think it was David Atkins. Yep. David Atkins just grabbed hold of Leon Felton there. Tony Smith, Coach of the Year in the NFP, won his award at the Elland Road NFP Awards nights just the other day. So Leigh now with a chance to put a decent set of 6 together.
He never tapped that ball then, he was just trying to grab his feet together.
He fell flat in his face, didn't he? But Isherwood is able to continue. Rowley now. Here is Vila Matautia. Is this going to be the last big game from Big Vila? Willie Swan. Swan finds John Roper. There's so much experience in this Leigh Centurion side.
Twice in that set of 6, they punched back down to that short side. Will they go that way again?
Bradbury picked up and dumped to the ground, and a little bit of afters from Bradbury. Wittenberg didn't like it. They're still at it. Swan puts the kick in. Stanley Jean has lost that ball. Now it's back to 1, and this is good pressure from the Leigh Centurions. And suddenly it's the Giants' turn just to feel a little bit rattled. Here is Matautia now. Now Matautia will take them on up the middle, then flips the ball back to Goulding. Good job for him that the Centurion scrum half is alert. That's a good kick, but Heffin O'Hare will shuffle that one dead. Not very convincingly.
It doesn't surprise me that Bobby Goulding kicked even early in the tackle count then. The Huddersfield defence on their own line, particularly well organised and structured. For Leigh to get over it, they'll need something special. Kicking the own goal out, it gives them another set of possession.
Goulding, another one of the ex-Huddersfield players in this Leigh Centurion side. There's another one, David Bradbury.
Got some good distance though, and a good chase, haven't they? They're still 40 metres from the line. Isherwood's dangerous with his dancing footwork.
John Roper, he's a little less flashy but very effective. The Leigh Centurion centre. Now then, the Centurions, good movement here from them, great movement. Turley putting the step on, Turley straight up the middle. He's looking for some support, there's nobody there for him, he needed somebody on his shoulder. But Leigh attacking the end, populated by their supporters, in great position now. Goulding to Baldwin with the strength, he's got the ball away, and the try goes to Dale Cardoza, first of the game. And Dale Cardoza, one of the new recruits to this Leigh Centurion side, for the purpose of getting them into Super League, is not disappointing the club. He's failed to score in only one of the games since he joined the club, and he's on the mark again.
Strong, hard running, and the ability to offload whilst being tackled really is the hallmark of this try. Ball when he's too big, too strong, and a good right-hand flick to Cardoza, who goes over unchallenged. Put this down to Simon Baldwin's ability to really attract 3 defenders and then still get the ball away to Cardoza, who all he has to do really is catch it and fall over the line. Bobby Gillen will be happy. He's run at the defensive line, committed a defender, and that's just given the chance and the gap out wide for Cardoza. Pretty pleased with that. Chris Thorman doing all the talking now in the Huddersfield camp. I think it's important that they don't panic. That'll be a word that's probably sent on right now from the coaching staff.
Cardoza, another former Huddersfield player, will have enjoyed that moment. Neil Turley, another great goal kicker. He's got 153 of them this season. Make that 154. Leigh have taken the lead. They're ahead by 6 points to 2. To the delight of the Leithers.
I think too the nature of the game would mean that for Leigh to win it, they will have to be in front. I very much doubt that they could come from behind, especially in the second half. Power, strength and experience of the Giants would probably take them through, so it's important that they get some points on early in the game.
Well, especially as in 2 meetings between the sides this season, Huddersfield have had much the better of it. Beat them at Leigh 37-4 very early in the season, and then 36-10 just 3 weeks ago in the first round of the playoff games. So
the scoreline though of that playoff game probably not indicative of how even the game was until Huddersfield just got on top a little later. A couple of Leigh injuries. Rowley is a danger too to the Huddersfield side. Such a quick player and an experienced one at that.
Baldwin. Crabtree with a big hit. Now then, March has done well there, and March has got the ball away to Heffin O'Hare. O'Hare has the pace. O'Hare will get to the try line. The country's leading try scorer has got another one, and a try truly out of nothing for the Huddersfield Giants. And the Welshman has the perfect response for the Huddersfield side.
You say out of nothing, Bill. It's out of a willingness to work in defence. That so often leads to tries. His teammates really won't get the accolades, but it's those who Rob Roberts hustling, bustling, Crabtree does, and Paul March does an amazing job to catch it. He's one of the fastest players in this league. He shows that speed to get over the line. Bristow does well. He makes the kick difficult. Baldwin trying to look for the offload out the back door. Paul Cullen mentioned those in the piece before the game started. It's been a feature of Leigh's play this year. Huddersfield aware of it, and Heffin O'Hare appreciates it.
Well, that is Heffin O'Hare's 35th try of the season. And a great winger's try that was. The ball was dipping down by his toes and he was tight to the touchline, but didn't he just show a real great turn of pace there. Steve McNamara will be thinking he could have taken it a bit closer to the sticks, but he's kicked these before. McNamara, though, has pushed that one across the face of the posts. It's living up to expectations. Huddersfield 6, Leigh Centurion 6. Paul Cullen, what do you reckon so far?
Well, we mentioned the word discipline at the start of the piece, and it's very much to the fore, isn't it? I thought that Leigh just had to settle themselves down on the back of what was a very good early score. They just can't hold themselves. They have to play this impact offload. Simon Baldwin got away with it once with the offload to Cardoza for the score. He just simply couldn't hold on. He's deep in his own half when he's passed that ball out, and he paid the ultimate price.
Well, the wind was in the Centurion's sails for a moment, but that will have knocked it out, I would have thought, Phil. Just what you don't want to do.
Maybe not the manner, though. It's almost like an interception try. They've just been blaming themselves for offloading in that position. It's not really as though they've fallen off tackles yet. Or hit a wall. High shot there, maybe. They were looking for it. Bristow a bit on Wittenberg.
Oh, and Baldwin's put their head in there. Well, the penalty, I think, is just for lying on in the tackle, but...
Well, they'd won the tackle. I don't know why they had to hold on so long. His players were back onside, ready to go again.
And this was Leigh's Achilles heel last time out against Huddersfield. Discipline. Coach Paul Turvis was drumming it into his players before and during the game, and it still was their failing. Here is Thorman. Mind you, the Giants are no angels. Ben Cooper.
I'm fascinated to watch Chris Thorman play. Speaking to Tony Smith in the week, he said out of all his players, he thought that maybe he'd improved the most this year.
Here is Stanley Jean, the Papua New Guinean stalwart of the PNG international side, and he wins the penalty.
He wins it, Bill, because he's got too much power really. Dynamically, he's too strong for the Leigh defenders, and they're having to just hang on to him. Just wanting to get up quickly and play the ball.
The little man from Goroka in Papua New Guinea. Big favourite with the Kumuls. Big favourite with whichever British club he's been with, Stanley Jean, because he is a wholehearted performer.
They seem to have a good balance at half-back, the Giants. Foreman a creative ball player and Jean a dynamic runner.
Steve McNamara then head on to the posts, struck that one sweetly. The Giants regain the lead, 8 points to 6 ahead. Long way to go, Tony Smith knows that. He's projected a very calm and cool image in the build-up to this game as Tony Smith.
Must be difficult when you put almost 12 months of your life's efforts into it. The team have been to hundreds of training sessions, hours of weight sessions, and been through many painful games, I've no doubt, all for an 80-minute effort here to get back to where they think they belong.
Roberts felt that one. Big hit on Roberts. Chris Thorman, his brothers from Gateshead, Paul and Neil will be here, as will his mum and dad, who are stalwarts of the Gateshead Thunder Club.
Leigh will be desperate here not to concede a penalty. That will be 3 in a row, and it's almost approaching the last tackle. Those are the ones that kill sides.
Nick Slipper it was with the charge. McNamara puts the kick in straight down the middle of the field. Took a little ping off a Leigh Centurion.
Yeah, Paul Rowley did a good job putting pressure on Steve McNamara.
Now they're putting pressure on Neil Turley.
They started to get the ball nearer to the halfway line with Ollie Mans, and then you had a chance to try and create something or even win a penalty yourself. They've done that. With a kick to touch, this should give them a chance to attack again.
Jeff Wittenberg, the culprit, on halfway.
It's a great kick too, just where you want to be, about 20 metres from your opponent's line.
Now here's David Bradbury. Slicker stands firm and puts the tackle in. Needed some support from McNamara. Willie Swan now. Swan misses out John Roper, finds Andrew Isherwood, the former Wigan player, Wigan Academy product. Here goes Leon Felton. 3 tackles gone. About 8 metres out. Change of direction from Rowley. Willie Swan straight into a Huddersfield Giants wall. Leigh now with Goulding. Goulding to Baldwin again. Baldwin stabs the kick in. Cardoza has got it. It's still alive. Baldwin. Ollie Mans. Try for the Leigh Centurions. Or will it be? It is. No need to go for a second opinion. Ollie Mans, another one of the recruits in the last few weeks. Another great winger's try. Put that one on your card, says Ollie Mans.
Well, you're just hoping that the lady looks come on the lead coach here today. You try and explore on the right-hand side, don't get any joy, and swing it back to the left quickly. Again, you can see the means of scoring a try. It's the kick through to get a fortuitous ricochet. Cardoza's strength, he won't accept he's tackled. Mans does well to not be pushed out of play. Again, they go over to the right, keeping the ball alive. You know, against the Huddersfield side, you're going to have to keep moving it around until eventually a player pops out to the line or a hole is created. And if that's the case, then you need something to get over in the corner. Ollie Mans does that. What confidence now in the Leigh side. 2 attempts at attacking the Huddersfield line and 2 tries.
Breathtaking. The pace of this opening 20 minutes or so. And Neil Turley just has to calm himself now. Way out on the left-hand side of the field. Turley has hooked that one inside the posts. He's missed that conversion. And Leigh just nudge ahead again. Huddersfield 8, Leigh Centurions 10. Paul Terzis, he looks pretty calm, but there's so much at stake.
Well, as a coach, you want to do 2 things: maximise your strengths and minimise your weaknesses. That's what they will have been working on for weeks. Just hope that the players can play to their full potential.
Willie Swan, and now David Bradbury, and Atkins there to meet him. Mick Slicker as well.
Leigh have probed down the right-hand side, haven't they, on several occasions. Isherwood, whether they see it as a weakness or just a preferred option in getting out of trouble.
Matautia, he went in low there. We've seen him do that before in Super League, and
it was almost like a human cannonball at about knee height, isn't it? Impossible to stop.
You would not want that hitting your knees. Roper. That's the 5th tackle. And Willie Swan puts the kick in. And Ben Cooper, at fullback for the Giants, just returns that ball, and a great break from Cooper. Well, it was until a certain Mr. Matautia was there to meet him. Roberts. Bob Roberts. Good strength from the Giants' second row. McNamara. Just a little bit of indecision from the Giants there. Here's Jeff Wittenberg now.
Good hit from Isherwood high up. Stopped him dead, but the Leigh players just struggling to get back quickly with the referee. That's why Atkins now can eat up 10 metres, easily getting over the advantage line.
Stanley Jean, and here's Chris Thorman, and Thorman again just dinks the kick over the top, and Felton this time gathers successfully at the first attempt.
Well, they recognise the danger of the Huddersfield kicking game and obviously put emphasis on pressuring their kickers. It's just helped Felton a little bit. Bristow, he does sort of what Gardner does for the Bradford Bulls, and Cassidy for Wigan side. Just 100% effort, 100% of the time.
Dave Whittle has come on. Vila Matautia has left the field. Isherwood, Rowley, and Rowley is collared smartly by Marcus St-Hilaire, coming in off his wing to make the tackle.
It's the type of play though, again, Paul Cullen talked about. They like a forward hitting it up, spinning and offloading, but Huddersfield up to it. Stanley G looks to be injured.
Swan fires the kick in. Now then, that could be a really wicked one for Marcus St-Hilaire to have to retrieve, and it is. A great chase from the Centurions as well.
And my belief is kick chase wins big games. Oh no, it wasn't
almost
there.
Almighty
Willie
mess
Swan
there.
claims that he was actually held back, and he's probably got a fair claim.
Well, Marcus St-Hilaire now then. Oh, yes.
Should have been a goal line dropout. He's missed it.
Well, it was right behind that corner flag. Now, whether the touch judge's view was obscured by the corner flag.
Well, we all make mistakes, and the touch judge has just made his first for the night. Thorman's eager to take on the defensive line. McNamara looking to get a kick away. All of a sudden, the momentum now just in the Leigh side. If he takes it on the full like he has, he's straight away back on the attack.
Turley runs at Earl Crabtree. Huge figure of a character in the Giants' centre, 6 feet 5 inches tall, Crabtree, but there he is again. Big blonde-haired lad. Darren Turner off the bench for the Giants in the tackle as well. And the penalty will go to the Centurions, and Rob Roberts, I think, is in trouble. He's got a nasty cut, and he's going to have to go off.
And this is danger now. If Leigh don't kick for goal, then they're probably even more dangerous putting it into touch.
Now Rob Roberts showing the scars of battle already. And that might need Titches. Titches or stitches?
Well, the cynic among us might think it's a good time for a blood bin change anyway. Allows him to bring on another fresh forward, and maybe they were needing at Huddersfield. Leigh side just getting on top. Good kick chase, and they was playing the game in the Huddersfield half. Well, it must be hard to stay calm and send sensible instructions when your nerves are jangling inside. So much at stake.
Again, the decibel level just drops a notch or two. Both these clubs selling their complete allocation of tickets for the game. The fans want to be here to see what they hope will be the crowning of the champions, and Turley has missed with that one. Leigh remain ahead by 10 points to 8, but in this contest, you're going to need every point you can get.
You are. It's important now for Neil Turley, with so much of the game still to play. He doesn't let those linger in his mind. He's one of the best attacking players. He is the top try scorer in the Leigh side this year, but look, he's still annoyed with himself. You have to let the moment pass and play in the next one.
Well, Leigh will get the ball back. Gareth Price it was. Heath Cruikshank has come on to replace Rob Roberts. Roberts having treatment to that eye injury. They've lost that ball, and it's another penalty, and Jeff Wittenberg, I think, is the culprit there.
And the tackle's been going on for a few seconds. It usually goes the benefit of the doubt with the defender. The attacker rather, sorry, I should say. It has done, and another kick at goal. Tell you what, it's an ambitious attempt, 40 metres out.
Leigh committing 3 handling errors so far, which is probably 3 too many for their coach. Another change as Gareth Price comes on and replaces David Bradbury. Price, another of the Welsh internationals on show here. Paul Terzis, tempted I think by the fruit pastels or whatever they are Darren Abrahams got in front of him. He's one of his coaching assistants. That's what's keeping him going. Turley, has he got a sweetie here for his team? No, that one's short. Well, Neil Turley, 154 goals this season. And then the high shot, and Leigh may be a little bit frustrated because they're enjoying great dominance here, but not being able to make it count.
Well, you often see when a player breaks a line like that, a high shot, just stepping, amazing run from Ben Cooper. Gareth Price, it's going to be a penalty. You know, Leigh's decision to kick at goal on 2 occasions, maybe a bit of a surprise. The 2 forays they've had at the Huddersfield line, they came up with tries.
There is Gareth Price. And the penalty count even, 4 apiece. And, beg your pardon, another one goes Huddersfield's way. Now then, what will Steve McNamara do here? Will he decide to go for 2 points?
Well, they'll play the field position game. They've not had the ball for a while, and I think they want to play with it in the hands.
Simon Baldwin penalised there, and Carl Kirkpatrick, the referee, just barking out the instruction, tidy it up, fellas. It has got a little bit scrappy. There is so much pressure, there is so much at stake. It is impossible really to emphasise just what this means to these 2 clubs. Promotion to Super League, and Thorman ambitious with that ball out wide, but it could pay off here. St-Hilaire does well. The former Leeds Rhino, Marcus St-Hilaire, hasn't really seen much of the ball, but he's brought it right back into the middle of the field.
The Leigh defence did well to handle that, but are they out of place now?
McNamara, little spin from Steve McNamara, good tackle. Darren Turner, great try poacher he is, as Sheffield Eagles fans will remember, because it was one of his tries that helped them beat Wigan in the 1998 Challenge Cup final. That's the 5th tackle. Stanley Jean so close to the line. McNamara hoists the kick over the top. O'Hare taps it down. It's still alive. Big Earl Crabtree, Cooper. The referee, I don't think, is going to allow that one.
Bobby Goulding was interfered with. He's claiming straight away.
Play the ball when there's any obstruction on the Leigh tackle, please.
Goulding, who was trying to get to Crabtree, I'm sure. For some reason or other, he wasn't able to. Tell you what, they did well anyway, though, didn't they, in that situation, Huddersfield. Crabtree and O'Hare, it's been a magnificent partnership for them throughout the year. Scored over 59 tries on that side of the field. The right flank's been dangerous. You see Goulding come into shot there, the number 17, just lines up in front. Now then, the number 14, that's Heath Cruikshank, just gets in the way of Bobby Goulding. Looking again at this angle, whether that's to see whether they're onside, yes, they certainly are, or to get a better shot of the Bobby Goulding interference. Cruikshank just backing in. I tell you what, I think they might give this a try, Bill.
Ben Cooper with a touchdown. Now then, has he got try 24 of the season? I don't think Cruikshank really knew that Goulding was behind him. He just stood his ground.
Oh, they'll go mad, the Leigh fans here, Bill.
Any excuse.
Well, looking at that angle, it did seem to impede him, didn't it? Whether he stood still, I mean, he's entitled to stand still. Doesn't move backwards into him, he doesn't hold Goulding.
Well,
the more you watch it, the more you're convinced that the video referee is going to award this try.
Jerry Kershaw is the man with the task of deciding whether that is a try for Ben Cooper or a penalty for the Leigh Centurions. Now the Centurions have lined up under the impression it's going to be a penalty to them. Ben Cooper looks at the screen hoping that it's going to be 4 points for his team. Cooper waits. The Giants fans wait.
Wow.
Tony Smith, well, if he finds that hard to believe, he's doing a good job of concealing his feelings.
Leigh relieved too. Fifth tackle play. It's where Huddersfield have been dangerous against the Leigh side this year. You work so hard on your line to defend, and then all of a sudden that kick can do anything to you. Crabtree does well. He sucks it in and just offloads to Cooper. Leigh live to fight another day. Seems to be just taking it on the chin.
Well, that was a big call.
Well, look at the body language now from the Huddersfield players. Will they sulk or will they get on with it and try and force an error? Quick speed of the line. Everyone getting up, winning the tackle, winning the floor, controlling the marker area.
Well, the coach wasn't spitting the dummy. Whittle. Bulldozer of a prop forward, David Whittle. Another Welsh international out there. Here is John Roper. I beg your pardon, it's
Andrew Wisherwood. They're the same size, aren't they? Centre and second row.
Thanks, Phil.
Both was dangerous.
Goulding now, and Goulding hoists a big crossfield kick.
But all the Leigh players are offside anyway. Tell you what, they're in trouble here. They should win a penalty for slowing him down.
He diffused that one anyway, but Carl Kirkpatrick is going to allow them the benefit of the doubt. Ben Cooper.
Seems to be, yeah, he's looking at a mistake.
I thought he lost that ball, Cooper.
I think the area that Leigh need to really work on is getting back to the referee quickly and getting set in defence. It's where they're just fatiguing a little.
Here's Heath Cruikshank now. He'll be an angry man at that decision. Darren Turner. Just outside that Centurions 40. That's the fifth. Thorman again. What's he got in the locker this time? Puts the kick in. The pressure is on Felton once more, and Felton to Turley. That was brave. And Turley is just collared.
You can tell the Huddersfield intention. It's patience, isn't it? They'll just kick, waiting for a mistake from Felton, although now he's through the line.
And Felton takes a dive. Well, that's two he's got away with. Dived before he was tackled, and then gets up again. Greg Louganis would have been impressed with that.
Would for sure. I think the pace too of this first half probably higher than these two sides have played at for a majority of the games this year. The two changes taking place.
Who can last the pace the longest?
Well, this is when you realise pain is temporary and pride lasts forever. You've got to keep going now.
Leigh with one win in their last 4 games, but they've been playing the games, whereas Huddersfield have only played 2 in the last 5 weeks.
I'm sure the coach has devised some system of keeping his troops battle hardened. They've been playing amongst themselves or with the other sides.
Well, John Duffy has come on now, and Willie Swan has left the field for the Leigh Centurions, and Thorman almost put the step on. Oof, that was ambitious. Heath Cruikshank very nearly in trouble. Darren Turner now with the run. Paul Cullen, is this living up to expectations for you?
Well, it's a fantastic contest so far. One thing that strikes is that Leigh are a side that have had to come from behind to win games in the NFP this year. They've had to do it tough on occasions, but neither of these sides have really ever had to play this year in fatigue. It's been intense so far, it's getting testy now, tempers are beginning to fray. It's going to be, I think, the big decision from the game now on in. Who can handle the pressure most?
Neil Turley was the man penalised. Turley thought he was the victim.
He's just committed the cardinal sin, giving away a penalty while in possession.
Kicking out with the ball at Jeff Wittenberg, and I think Wittenberg was very nearly guilty of giving away the penalty himself then.
Perhaps
it ends up with the Giants getting the call in their favour, and Paul Terzis, well...
Bill, there's times when you've just got to cop it. You may be tackling it, may be illegal, have to accept it, stand up and play the ball.
And that's what the Leigh Centurions coach probably say to his guys. McNamara offloads to Ben Cooper. Cooper, a try disallowed controversially. Wittenberg has left the field. Rob Roberts repaired his back on. Here's a chance now for Marcus St-Hilaire. He'll get the try. Was he onside though? Happy with the onside, says Carl Kirkpatrick. Well, not sufficiently to make the decision there and then. So, another decision for Jerry Kershaw. Stanley Jean with the kick.
Very little the Leigh side could do about this. It's great skill from Stanley Jean. He just commits the defenders towards him before putting the ball to the foot, kicks it through. The weight and pace of this kick is just outstanding. His two colleagues outside him are aware of what's going to happen. That gives them a chance to stay behind him and set off at full speed for it. You think you look at them a line, I think they're onside. I don't see a problem with that. Hallis just in front of Hilaire.
There's the boots on his ball, and St-Hilaire's probably a couple of metres behind. He's confident in the decision, Marcus St-Hilaire. This one will count. And Marcus St-Hilaire brought to the Huddersfield Giants after a spell as a rugby union player taking part in the Commonwealth Games. But this is a medal that I think he'll cherish if the Giants can win promotion to Super League.
Well, the difference that stands out to me, Bill, is the fact that the last two penalties that Huddersfield have been awarded close to the halfway line, they've converted into tries. For Leigh, they attempted to kick a goal and both of them missed. That's a massive difference in the point score.
Steve McNamara, former Great Britain international, lots of experiences, helped out with the coaching at the Giants this season alongside Tony Smith, and a great goal kicker. Further evidence of that with those 2 points. And Huddersfield, this game really is swinging to and fro. Huddersfield ahead by 14 points to 10. McNamara talking to Leigh St-Hilaire there, another member of the Giants coaching team, and it's his little brother Marcus St-Hilaire who's put, there he is, who's put the Giants back in front. What did I say? Batten down the hatches?
Certainly going to be that way. We've seen some quality in defence and attack.
Here is Stanley Jean, and Jean just ducked under the swinging arm from Isherwood.
Dynamically strong player. Very few players throughout the career been able to handle him one-on-one.
Oh, risky offload, but Darren Turner fortunately was tuned in for that one from Mick Slicker. Now here goes Thorman. Thorman to McNamara. McNamara straight up the middle. Roper got a bit of him, finished off by Paul Rowley. Thorman. Stanley Jean has put that ball down.
That's where I think Leigh let themselves down. I don't know if you'll see two of the players here. They just got to Stanley Jean and pat him on the head, sarcastically congratulated him for a mistake. I think they should concentrate more on their own performance and worrying about the mistakes that their opponents make.
Well, heading up to half-time, and Huddersfield just ahead. No easy ride for them in this game. They might have put 70-odd points against Leigh this season in regular competition. Well, in the NFP regular and then in the playoffs, but no evidence of it being a soft touch today. But Leigh again have committed the cardinal sin, and this time just with a few minutes before half-time of giving away possession. Now then, can the Giants make them pay? Here is Heath Cruikshank. Cruikshank lost that ball.
Some pumped up players, aren't there? Just squeezes out the tackle. Bounces back into his control somehow. Look, boom, back in the arm. Well, Kirkpatrick won't miss that. The eagle-eyed Kirkpatrick spots it again.
Well, I think his touch judge did actually.
Well, let's give him some credit. Steve always bags him.
He's had a good season as Carl Kirkpatrick. Who's going to have a good season out of these two? There is Carl Kirkpatrick. Big game to take charge of with so much at stake, but none really of a repeat of the ill temper in the last meeting between these two sides. No penalties, there he is, shouting out. These sides can't afford to be indisciplined. John Duffy, scampering run from the former Warrington scrum half. Now then, important kick coming up. They've gone down the short side. Roper puts the kick in. It comes off a Huddersfield boot.
Big call.
It'll be the turnover. It's the turnover. Turs is hoping that it would be decided that Huddersfield had played at that ball, but it just cannoned into the shins of Steve McNamara.
Huddersfield obviously done their homework. They know that Leigh like to go down those short sides.
Well, meanwhile, there's a giant down, and it's Steve McNamara, who's got a bang on the back by the look of things. Thorman. Cruikshank. Again attracting the Centurions defenders. Eventually plays that ball. Thorman will put the kick in. That's going to go straight out. Oof, lucky. He really mishit that one, but at least he found touch.
With just a minute to go, Leigh maybe get one chance to attack. Surprise me if they go to kick from this scrum. I think he spotted it, Chris Thorman. You see him there just pointing Heffino, sending him back in preparation for that kick.
Meanwhile, the Centurions coach making notes. Chris Thorman is actually a London Broncos player. He's here on loan for this season, and what an acquisition he's been for these Giants. They don't want to let him go, but he's going back to the Broncos for Super League 8. Tony Smith will be sorry to see him go, but he's more concerned about the here and now. John Duffy. Last flourish of this first half from the Leigh Centurions, maybe. Here is David Bradbury. Always has been a combative player from his olden days. Roper. Rowley ran cover for him.
They need a few more players though. When they've got guys going into holes, they need somebody outside or inside offering another option.
Will they kick? Time running out. Goulding hoists that one. Underneath it is Ben Cooper. Cooper under pressure. He's lost that one. It's picked up, I think, by Robert Roberts as the hooter sounds. And the end of an enthralling first half. The coach catches his breath. The crowd catch their breath, and still a little bit of interest there as the players come off. And plenty of interest to come. Not a lot in it, just as we anticipated. The Genie has played his part. But at half-time, it's the Huddersfield Giants who are just ahead by 14 points to 10.
Fantastic first half in the Northern Ford Premiership Grand Final. Nothing in it at the break. The Giants just ahead by the 4 points. And the crowd here at the Halton Stadium in Widnes buzzing. This, a wonderful kick by Stanley Jean, and the try really that separates the two sides at half-time. Giants 14, Leigh 10. We'll be back with the panel after these.
Sky Sports proudly presents a star-studded event bringing back the legends of the game. Great Britain in a showdown with the elite from Europe. International Masters sponsored by Stan James tomorrow at 5 live Sky Sports 1.
And for their next amazing feat, Zurich will advise you on your mortgage and help you sort out your pension, your investments, your car and home insurance, effortlessly. Zurich, making it all possible.
Stretch the balloon like that. Ow! Some twiddly bits round here. A lovely, lovely curly tail. This one's for you. There are some laughy faces there, aren't there?
Bacardi, welcome to the Latin Quarter.
Working families, disabled persons and children's tax credits are being replaced by new tax credits, so more people get more money. If you currently get tax credits, you'll be sent one new form automatically, but you need to fill it in now to continue claiming. And you can even apply online. Because if you're working or bringing up children, you're contributing to the UK. And if you've earned it, make sure you claim it. Because it's money with your name on it.
New trainers to help her run fast and win gold at the Olympics, £22. Books to help her learn to read and become a best-selling author, £30. Globe so she can study geography, which will come in handy when she's Prime Minister, £25. Remembering to take it one day at a time, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Accepted wherever your dreams take you.
In tomorrow's Mail on Sunday, Ulrika Jonsson tells for the first time her full story of her astonishing relationship with Sven-Goran Eriksson. The moment Ulrika fell for Sven in her kitchen. Why she was sure Sven would dump Nancy. The fears the scandal could cost him his England job.
Read my true story in my own words, only in tomorrow's Mail on Sunday.
Take a close look, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's a new car. It's got a new suspension system, a new advanced braking system, and an interactive driving system that synchronizes the performance of every component in the brand new chassis. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe this car is a phenomenon.
Sky Sports this winter is explosive. Cricket, the Ashes and the World Cup. Sky Sports this winter, it's hot.
All roads lead to Old Trafford this time next week. It's the Tetley's Super League Grand Final. Bradford Bulls against St Helens. That's a repeat of the 1999 showpiece. We're live on Sky Sports 1 from 6 next Saturday. This is the Northern Four Premiership Grand Final. It's their big day, and aren't the Giants and the Centurions giving us a treat? 2 tries apiece. McNamara's goals, though, proving crucial. Turley has missed a few. Well, the Huddersfield Giants dressing room, and the thing is that whichever of these two sides wins this match, they will be amongst the elite in the Super League next year. They were cleared by the Rugby Football League yesterday. They meet all the criteria, and Paul Terzis there in the centre of your screen, the league coach, a little bit more animated than his opposite number, Tony Smith, just down the corridor. Well, the stakes are so high, aren't they? It is a match that we're all enjoying here. I bet you are at home as well. It might not quite have the intensity of last night at Nosey Road, but as I say, the stakes so high, there's so much tension out there. Paul Cullen has rejoined us in the studio, along with, of course, Neil Kelly of the Widnes Vikings. Steve-O here as well. Paul, you're a bit closer to the action than we were. We've been in here. It's got a little bit tasty at times, hasn't it?
Well, it has. You know, there is life after Super League or beyond Super League. It's been a great game of football. To be honest, the comment that Neil made pre-match has been absolutely right. The form and type of football that's got both of these sides to the final, they both used in the first half. I think Huddersfield have been more controlled. They've stuck at the game plan. They've worked on the kick and chase, the pressure game. Where Leigh, you know, they have been played some great football. They've also been their own worst enemy. Now you have to know when to play that offload game and when to hold off. And Leigh don't at times. It's either going to win them this game or it's going to lose them the match.
Well, I can tell you that on Thursday night there was a function in Huddersfield and there was no players and there was no coaches there, but the Huddersfield officials, Neil, they tipped this to perfection. They said it'd be close for an hour and then the last 20 minutes they will kick on and win it. Do you think they're going to be right?
Well, certainly Huddersfield has shown a tremendous amount of patience in that first half, because Leigh certainly came out of the blocks firing. They've been bashing up the Huddersfield left side defence with some great play through Isherwood and Roper, and to lose a try early, it'd been very easy for the jitters to start going. But I thought they showed a lot of patience, and they've fought their way back, and now at a 14-10 I've actually got the psychological edge as we go into the half time.
They have got a psychological edge, but I just wonder whether it's enough, Steve-O. You know, Leigh are pumped up. We've seen Paul Terzis in the dressing room. He's winding them up for a big second half.
Yeah, it certainly is, and full credit to them. They really came out with all guns blazing, didn't they? They knew they had to, because we talked about the composure of this Huddersfield side, and they got off to that flying start. It was wonderful work by Baldwin, and I must say, Neil, that it didn't surprise us, did it, when they opened up with a beautiful try?
No, it didn't surprise us, and you know, Leigh have been working the Huddersfield left side, but scored both tries on the right, and I think they're trying to create Crabtree in a lot of space for the pace of Cardoza to exploit.
Now, Baldwin, the creator, now he becomes the villain, because it was good work from March, and what about the take from O'Hare? He's got plenty of speed, this fella, Paul.
He has, but look at the Baldwin offload. The first one to Cardoza on the try line, the second one leading to the Huddersfield score on the halfway line.
And we just can't keep this guy out of the picture, can we? They kept it alive. They knew they were going to do this. They had to. Solid defence, Bobby running across the face, and it's that man again, Baldwin. They get the lovely ricochet, and they get the ball away, but good work here. Ollie Marnes, I'll take the 4.
Well, I thought 10 out of 10 for Cardoza. You just can't hold him at the moment.
Now, this was interesting. This is with the try that was disallowed. It was a good kick by McNamara. Now, if you watch closely, Neil, you see how he looks to see for the obstruction here.
Yeah, you can see Cruikshank just looking over his shoulder there. He knows Goulding's there, knows he's providing an obstruction for Crabtree. Got to say, a great ball from Crabtree if the try had been allowed, but I actually called it live as it came through as a penalty.
Now, Huddersfield, they've been pinpointing this winger, Leon Felton. He hasn't had the best of first half, and when St. Hilaire took a beautiful kick from Stanley Jean, absolutely wonderful play. As we expected, Leigh applying the pressure in the opening 20-25 minutes, but full credit to this Huddersfield Giants side. All they're doing is just making it and controlling it. I think they're in full control. They'll be confident coming out for the second half.
We said before the match that Stanley Jean, Bobby Goulding may be the match winners, but there are some other heroes out there, aren't there?
Well, Foreman, I think he's having a fantastic game. For a young man to be controlling this match as he is from that half-back position, you know, it augurs well for the Broncos next year. But again, one guy stands out for me as, well, he almost frightens the life out of you. It's Dale Cardoza. He can do anything, he can go from anywhere. You know, if I was in that Leigh dressing room, I'd be pushing Paul Terzis to his captain to get some ball to Dale Cardoza. He can go full length, he can win this game on his own.
Interesting you mentioned Dale Cardoza. We all know his CV. Dale Cardoza, you know, he's a terrific acquisition, but let go by a certain club this year.
Well, yes, I mean, I didn't bring
him there.
I didn't bring him to Warrington, and I didn't get rid of him either. But you know, if you're just looking at the athlete, you know, the man himself, you know, he's cut out of stone. He looks like Superman. And on the try where he shrugged off 3 men and put the ball to Baldwin, who's offloaded to Marnes, you know, that was almost unstoppable. 3 big, fit, strong men couldn't hold him. And as the pressure mounts, this guy could pick up and go full length.
I think that's why Leigh are working the Huddersfield left-hand side. They're taking the ball to Jean and McNamara, really making them work hard. But what it's also doing, it's exposing El Crabtree, who's a converted second rower, playing in the centres, and he hasn't got the pace or footwork of a Cardoza. And right, if they can put Crabtree in space and get Cardoza one-on-one on him, they probably feel as though he can get over the line.
Yes. I think we're saying here, it might be just a little bit too close to call, but there is the biggest 40 minutes of these two clubs' season on the way here, the second half that will decide whether it's Huddersfield Giants or the Leigh Centurions amongst the elite of Super League next year. Wouldn't like to try and pick a winner. Huddersfield ahead though at the break by just the 4 points.
Wednesday, live on Sky Sports, a night of European Championship qualifiers. England and Ireland on the road to Portugal 2004. On Sky Sports 2, follow England as they take on Macedonia. While big rivals Turkey face Liechtenstein. Over on Sky Sports 1, Mick McCarthy's Ireland are at home against the Swiss. See the England and Ireland games in the first half of Turkey-Liechtenstein all live, Wednesday from 6, Sky Sports.
It was a simple plan, a plan to save people money by making their finances work together. It meant some homeowners could reduce the length of their mortgage by around 5 years, while others could save £600 a year. And if everyone had Open Plan, the whole country would be billions better off. Open Plan from Barclays.
Every time the BMW Williams F1 team races, their cars are closely monitored by their engineers. How closely? Every turn, every gear, every rev is transmitted around the world and can be adjusted real time with the help of HP ProLiant servers powered by the Intel Xeon processor. It's like a pit stop at 200 miles an hour.
Only X-Files Season 5 on DVD, with revealing extras taking you closer to the truth. X-Files DVD box set, buy from Monday.
This year, we've made October a little more bearable. Because at Burger King throughout October, we'll give you a triple for just $1.99.
In tomorrow's Mail on Sunday, Ulrika Jonsson tells for the first time her full story of her astonishing relationship with Sven-Goran Eriksson. The moment Ulrika fell for Sven in her kitchen. Why she was sure Sven would dump Nancy. The fears the scandal could cost him his England job.
Read my true story in my own words, only in tomorrow's Mail on Sunday.
What have you been up to, Mr. Moneybags?
It's okay. I put it on the credit card.
The credit card?
Don't worry. It's our new Capital One No Hassle Platinum card.
The Capital One No Hassle Platinum card with 0% for 6 months, a low long-term APR of 11.5% and no fraud liability.
What's in your wallet?
There's a big night of international football on Wednesday. First up on Sky Sports 2, England's main group rivals Turkey at home to Liechtenstein. The first half's live and exclusive, followed immediately by England against Macedonia. Only Sky Sports brings you both key games. Coverage starts at 6. And at 7 on Sky Sports 1, another Euro qualifier, exclusively live, the Republic of Ireland against Switzerland. The half-time score, Huddersfield 14, Leigh 10. But Huddersfield, they've had a lot of time building up to this one. The Centurions coming into it, of course, on the back of some bruising encounters, notably against Batley last week. Who's for the Super League next year? Bill and Phil have the answers.
Well, Huddersfield Giants haven't tasted defeat since February when they lost a cup tie to Doncaster. Their only loss in 38 league and cup games. Paul Cullen will of course point out that Whitehaven, when he was coach there, held the Giants to a draw. But can Leigh Centurions do what no other side has done since that cup tie and beat the Huddersfield Giants here and take the place at stake in Super League? The Giants are really going to have to work hard if they're to see off the threat of these Centurions, and David Bradbury working very hard there to see off the challenge of those Giants tacklers.
Do you know, Bill, sometimes you have to move outside your comfort zone to achieve something that you haven't achieved before, and that's where some of these guys will end up tonight. This will be a big demand and a big ask in the second half.
Here's big David Whittle. Bristow, Baldwin now, Baldwin, and here is the man they were talking about at half-time, Dale Cardoza. On the last, and Baldwin puts the kick in, and that was a second rower's kick. But he's wondering why he was left in that position, I think.
Well, it only looked like it was ever going to go one place, didn't it? Straight over the sideline, ball back. It would have had a massive difference because it only went forward about 10 metres, so it would have been a scrum, and Huddersfield would probably come away with possession. Not the best start, though, to your first set of 6 in the second half.
The Giants in possession then, and a break on halfway, and it's snapped up by David Bradbury. Well, that was really promising for a moment, but Darren Turner's offload was seized by David Bradbury. On such things do games swing. Yeah, here is Bristow.
Good offload out the back from Bristow. Rowley on the play.
Rowley taken down by Steve McNamara. Isherwood
There's been a battering ram, hasn't he, issued? Sooner or later he's going to knock that door down.
Here is Duffy now. Duffy for Goulding. Swinging this ball out wide. It's with Cardoza now. Cardoza skips away from one challenge. He's up for this. It's Dale Cardoza. 4 tackles gone. What have they got now? Across the face of Goulding for Duffy. Duffy looking to offload. Does so. Good footwork from Bradbury. Bradbury, really strong handoff from the Leigh Centurions prop. But that's the 5th tackle. Rowley now. Goulding will stab the kick in. It's going to go dead, I think.
Goal line dropout. Just touched it, didn't he, Ron Roberts, about a metre before the dead ball line. Wasn't confident that it was going to go out, so carried it out of play.
Good pressure from the Centurions yet. Rob Roberts with that head bandaged. Had to make sure of that. Turley. Now here is Bradbury again. Bradbury takes on McNamara. Support there from David Atkins, player of the year for the Giants, the former Canberra Raider. Whittle now. Good pressure this from the Leigh Centurions. What they wouldn't give for a try early on in this second half. 3 tackles gone. Goulding now. Goulding again, and Goulding going on his own, but Roberts was there to greet him. 4 tackles gone. Rowley. Turley. Here's Duffy. Duffy. Little step from him, and he's lost that ball, I think. Knock on.
Well, bit of relief in the Huddersfield side. They did well, didn't they, in defence? Nobody panicked. Everybody stayed on the man. Eventually they forced a mistake from Duffy.
Well, let's see what coaches Paul Terzis and Tony Smith have had to say to their troops at half-time. Rod Studd?
Well, Bill, it's not often that both coaches say they're happy at half-time, but it is the case here. Tony Smith reasonably pleased with what's going on, but he wants his side to be stronger in defence and wants them to concentrate on policing Leigh's play the ball. Leigh's Paul Terzis, well, he just wants his side to stick to their game plan. He's very confident in the second half, but a little bit worried about Dave Bradbury. He's got a nasty cut that needs constant attention.
Stanley Jean had to be quick there. There is Paul Terzis, hoping that that call would have gone his way, but a let-off there for the Giants. And
very lucky, yeah. Heffin O'Hare failed to play the ball correctly and just about got away with it.
Still a lot of jitters out there, but Thorman puts the kick in. That's not going to run for a 40-20, and Felton felt that. Leon Felton felt the full force, if you'll.
So the tough night's with Leon Felton. They've kicked to him more often than the other side of the field, and
Graham Harris got a hold of him there.
Bradbury and Crabtree. You don't want to start wrestling with Earl Crabtree.
You don't, not with his background. Nephew of Big Daddy. They had to get it in somewhere.
Become involved there now. Gang tackling a little bit more, committing 2 and 3 men to the tackle on the Huddersfield side.
And the volume raising even further here at the Holton Stadium. There's a lovely ground this with a big crowd in, and he's into touch. Is John Roper, and that's good defence, and Graham Hallis is having a purple patch for the Huddersfield Giants.
Dangerous when you get near the sideline. Roper did do that with the greasy pitch and the strength of Hallis. Just about forced his knees onto the line. That's out in this game. Leigh rather slow to form this scrum. And Bristow standing out of the scrum. They put Roper in it.
Stanley Jean runs straight at Bristow. McNamara. Here is David Atkins. And Atkins taking some putting down. He's only 5'9", is David Atkins, but he really is a powerful player. And after all that build-up, it was Heath Cruikshank. Here's Thorman, and Thorman likes to do that.
So far, the tries in this game have come from the wingers in the centre. We've not seen a break down the middle, but I think as the game goes on, that's where the breaks will appear.
Here is Cruikshank again, and Cruikshank has lost that ball. And knock on.
Well, Kirkpatrick can't really understand the decision from the touch judge. He's going over to get the exact SP.
He regathered it.
And the scrum will go to the Giants, or the Leigh players can't believe that.
Well, would it have been a penalty with the 2 men in the tackle?
Heath Cruikshank, the victim. Paul Terzis, well,
I think there'll be a big red light comes on here in the Leeds coach's mind. This is danger zone.
Chris Thorman! Straight up the middle. The red light was flashing, and that was why.
And there's a fight now, it's all broken out. Robertson, David Whittle. They're all hers in there, take your pick. They all want to go.
Well, I tell you what, in a few weeks' time, Rob Roberts and David Whittle are going to be Welsh squad members together.
Well, did you say it might boil over, Bill?
But it's still going on. And Paul Rowley and Steve McNamara, the two captains, are engaged in a bit of a dispute there.
I think the whole fuse box is just blown.
Well, there's no doubting the try from Chris Thorman. And he sliced through that Centurions defence. Hot knife through butter doesn't do it justice. 25th try of the season for Chris Thorman. But Carl Kirkpatrick and his touch judges are going to have to decide how to deal with this.
We'll have it on report, we'll have Whittle and Roberts in the bin, and we're going to give the side. Yeah?
Well, there you have it.
Unanimous decision from the officials. Isherwood starts something with Roberts and then it just all goes on. No doubt about the try. You get your money's worth here, Bill. This is fight night on Sky.
And David Whittle has already left the field for his spell in the sin bin. And Robert Roberts, there is David Whittle. And Bob Roberts goes to the bin. Well, I'm just surprised it's taken this long for something like that to flare up.
It's the second week in a row that David Whittle's found himself in the sin bin. So serve his penance there now for 10 minutes. What an exciting prospect though Chris Thorman really is as a half-back. Very few of them in the game now run at the defensive line. They've got the speed and the bravery really to do it. That gap opened up from the scrum. Took the opportunity. This will be 6 points for the Giants and perhaps the turning point in the whole season.
2 more points for the Giants. Steve McNamara just composing himself.
I suppose, Bill, you've got to go back to that scrum really, which was a controversial decision anyway. We either thought it was a penalty to Huddersfield or a scrum feed to Leigh.
Well,
it's Roberts who pushes Isherwood in the back that begins it all. Don't take anything away from Chris Thorman. Big gap, big try, 6 points. They don't miss. They don't stop throwing him either. Look at the fourth official. He deserves a medal for bravery. Here's the original scrum decision. Now, was he trying to strip it, Cardoza? Did Cruikshank just lose possession?
Well, it was Dale Cardoza and Bobby Goulding combining on Heath Cruikshank. Well, as Steve-O would say, it's fish and chip wrappings now.
Well, we said it's getting a little bit colder now that we're in autumn, but that's warmed everybody up. How will Leigh react? How can Huddersfield cope now? They're 10 points in front, in control of the game, win another penalty. They just need to keep control of their emotions and keep playing the way they have.
Offside given against the Leigh Centurions.
When you go back to that sending off, Bill, perhaps a bit of sympathy with David Whittle. He'd no intention to start a fight, had he? He was just going back. He knew his side had conceded a try. Pushed in the back by Roberts.
Roberts and Whittle in that sin bin, and McNamara trying to wrong foot the Centurions defence. There is David Whittle, Welsh international, and probably lining up against the Kiwis in Cardiff on November the 3rd. A big game for Neil Kelly's Wales team. Oh, and Thorman has done it again. He does do that. He fires the pass that just begs to be intercepted.
Well, there were some inviting runners, weren't there, just appearing in holes for him. Couldn't resist the temptation to throw it.
through it, he did, and then the penalty goes to the Centurions.
Don't be surprised if this kicks off again, Bill.
Tony Smith looking pretty composed. I wonder what Paul Cullen makes of it so far in this second half. Paul?
Well, it's getting very hot down here as well. There was a piece from Phil Clark early in the first half when Stanley Jean drops the ball. The petulance from the Leigh players who congratulated him on the drop. Well, that was in reverse. Rob Roberts has gone and give it to a number of the Leigh players as he's approached as Foreman has scored a try, and it's all gone wrong for Leigh at that point.
Very nearly went right for the Centurions then, because Cardoza was again causing all sorts of problems for the Giants' defence, but he couldn't get the ball to Ollie Marnes, and now Heffin O'Hare comes away with it.
Yeah, unluckily, missed opportunity on the left flank. They've got to hang on in there now. They can't let Huddersfield go the length on them. That would kill them at this stage.
Now that's David Atkins. Here is Graham Hallis, and Hallis is through a gaping hole. He needs some support. He hasn't got any. He has now from Marcus St-Hilaire. That is a great winger's try from Marcus St-Hilaire, because he just put a little step in, which took him outside the last defender. And Marcus St-Hilaire gets his second try of the game.
There's no substitute for class and there's no substitute for speed, and on this stage Huddersfield have both. Graham Hallis does a magnificent job here. You know, Leigh were very unlucky. Last hand side of the field, Cardoza throws a right-handed speculator. If he'd have gone to Marnes, he was in the corner. And as I feared for the Leigh side, Huddersfield have gone the length on them. Graham Hallis 10 years ago made a run similar to this for Great Britain, actually, in Australia. He waits for the support, draws it in full-back and winger. Just gives St-Hilaire an easy touchdown. 2 tries in quick succession for the Giants. Worrying times now. The Leigh side.
Watch Turley slip though here, Phil. I think that was just got tangled up with Felton's feet.
Yeah, Rowling still trying hard. He gets back to make the kick more difficult. Maybe just a smile of relief perhaps from Tony Smith.
Steve McNamara with this one, another one, difficult one from way out wide. He's kicked that one as well. That's just what you need in a situation like this. The kicker of Steve McNamara's composure, because he's helped Huddersfield into a 26-10 lead now. So what have the Centurions got? Bobby Goulding trying to rally the troops.
Well, obvious statement, but they must go next, Bill. That's a simple fact. They need possession and they need it near to the Huddersfield line. Somebody's going to come up with a big hit here in defence. Force the ball out. Goulding tries it. It's held by Hamilton and Baldwin.
He did that on Rob Roberts when Leigh and Huddersfield met a few weeks ago and came off second best. And Goulding is limping now.
I think also maybe a 12-man game just suits the Giants a little bit more than Leigh. Touch more speed in the back line, more space on the edges.
Vila Matautia is on. John Hamilton is on for the Centurions. And that's another kick thumped into the midriff of Neil Turley.
Well, Steve McNamara will have wanted that ball to bounce just to give his defenders a little more time. As it is, it was a pretty enthusiastic chase. Turley wasn't able to get that far, but now Ollie Marnes, it's dummy half runs. They're trying to go down the middle on the Huddersfield side. They've won a penalty. This is a chance, a real chance now. Kick to the corner. See how they go.
Well, there's plenty of time. Haven't even reached the hour mark in this game. A flurry of points for the Giants has put them in a comfortable position. Penalties, 7 apiece. And a penalty will go again to the Giants, I think. And another Huddersfield player is going to be spoken to. Penalty will go to Centurions. Earl Crabtree.
And that type of behaviour just promotes it. Sort yourself out.
Well, it's a penalty and he's got to control those emotions, Earl Crabtree. No, he wants to wrestle him down and put him onto his back, but Can't do it that way.
Go on, release him, release him!
Taken by Rowley. Cardoza on the charge. Rowley again. Goulding seems to be moving okay now. Turley back for Isherwood. Isherwood.
Make the 10! Make the 10!
Tackled by Chris Molyneux. Off goes Hamilton, and Hamilton a good run from the former St Helens Academy player. Goulding once more. Matautia, Vila Matautia, trying to use his strength. 4 tackles gone. Rowley. Turley. Chance here maybe. 3 on 2. If they can get the ball out wide to Marnes. He's come back in field, but the Giants' defence has regrouped. Cardoza tries to go low, and that's going to be the turnover, and Paul Terzis shakes his head and thinks maybe that was the wrong option, guys.
Well, it was very ambitious, wasn't it? You thought you were going to beat 4 Giants on the line. And again, I just fear now with this Huddersfield side, the transition's pretty good, the shift from defence to attack quickly. They'll also have the confidence to try and go the length.
They've got a chance here. And Darren Turner still isn't tackled. And McNamara drives that ball in. He really has led from the front. Chris Molyneux and the 2 Sinners ready to come back out. Thorman puts the chip kick in. Stanley Jean is chasing. Stanley Jean will get to that ball. Felton comes across. Will Stanley Jean go all the way? He will. And there is the head over heels celebration from the man from PNG, Stanley Jean. But
just check the onside, please, Jerry. Just check the onside.
It's a try, Bill, don't worry. He's just double checking. I'll tell you what, they'll watch this try forever in Huddersfield. This is class. You know, at the play of the ball, just before the ball was played, Chris Thorman and Stanley Jean, they communicated to one another and knew exactly. The skill factor here is amazingly high to kick it just into that no man's land there between the defenders and the fullback, and then the individual brilliance and the try celebrations. Should get 6 points for scoring with the forward roll anyway.
Pure genius from Stanley Jean. And try number 28 of the season for the popular Huddersfield Giants standoff. You know, the Wallsend Boys Club old boys would have been proud of that footwork from Chris Norman. Put that ball on the spot for Stanley Jean, and he did the rest.
Well, probably a natural gymnast as well. He went over with it, he knew what he was going to do. He deserved it too, and the look on Tony Smith's face, it was almost as if he wanted to cry. He was so pleased. It's wonderful, wonderful work all year. There are the rewards. See, he's made 4 breaks more than any other player in the game. Such is his strength.
Well, the Leigh players really now have some work to do. If they are to turn this around, there is still time for them. Steve McNamara kicked one from this distance and angle just a few moments ago. He's kicked another one. And Huddersfield Giants now are stretching away into a comfortable lead, 32-10. Giant celebrations.
Rightly so. You know, when you're practicing training little moves and plays, you dream that they come off. Look at that. Puts it down, forward roll, up in one. There you go. He's just said, have it.
In Cummel.
Pigeon, I think it is, Bill.
Pigeon, that's it. Simbin is back on. Both sides back to full complement of 13. Here is Stanley Jean.
He's a pinball player, isn't he? Just bounces off players. That's why he's so hard to stop.
And Vila Matautia just getting a warning on the run from Carl Kirkpatrick. Bit of a high tackle there from him. Thorman puts another long kick downfield. You know, Huddersfield's preparation has been meticulous for this game. because they've been actually practicing on a pitch measured to the identical measurements of this Halton Stadium. Ollie Marnes now trying to inspire a fight back from his side. Crosses the 40-metre line, still in the Centurions' half. Willie Swan is back on the pitch.
You can tell the Leigh side are far from giving in on this one.
Well, there's still 20 minutes to go.
They just need something to penetrate this Huddersfield defence.
And if Huddersfield take their foot off the gas, then Leigh will punish them. Here is Isherwood. Isherwood trying to find that gap. Fifth tackle. Willie Swan will put the kick in, or puts a little grubber kick in. Ben Cooper is back there and does well. The Giants fall back.
Geez, that was unlucky, wasn't it, for John Duffy? He went scurrying through. They need something here now, don't they, Leigh? Penalty, drop ball, whatever. Whilst we're at this end of the field, you see Duffy just chasing up the Thorman, just in the way, escorts him out of the play.
Now here goes Heckin O'Hare, whose try brought the Giants back into the game very quickly after the Centurions had taken the lead. Now Hallis is hurt, I think, in that tackle. But Graham Hallis has been around. He's played for a lot of clubs, and he's a tough customer. Neil Turley, by comparison, is really just starting out. NFP Player of the Year last year, Turley. That honour going to Batley's Glenn Tomlinson this time round.
Well, victory comes at a price, Bill. And what the question the players have to ask themselves is, what price are they willing to pay?
Well, it's certainly a price worth paying, isn't it? Place in Super League next season. Both these chairmen of these clubs, Ken Davey of Huddersfield and Mike Nolan of Leigh Centurions, very confident going into this game, but both knowing what it means to the clubs. Still with the Centurions, Vila Matautia on the charge. A US Tomahawk international. Matautia played in a World Cup qualifying series for the USA. Here is Isherwood.
They've patrolled him well, haven't they? 2 and 3 defenders on him when he's got the ball. The red alert call, they know he's so dangerous.
Swan, another little grubber kick, looking for the post maybe.
The difference though maybe in that play, that he kicked that kick on his own. There's no other player for it, in contrast to Thorman kick for Stanley Jean.
Here's Heffin O'Hare again. O'Hare has got the pace. Cardoza's got some as well. Right through the middle to Marcus St-Hilaire, and that was great defence from Paul Rowley chasing back. And it'll be a knock-on, and Huddersfield looked as though they were home and hosed there, but gallant defence from the Centurions.
It's so hard, Bill, not to get overexcited when there's a breaking play. You go 80 yards, you see Stanley Jean, you want to get the offload. Difficult one when you fall into the ground. Going backwards, nigh on impossible chance. Good cover though again from the Leigh players. You've got to hand Simon Baldwin some credit for getting back like that. Maybe one of the fastest back rowers around.
Tony Smith knows that there's still time for Leigh Centurions to cause his side problems here, and John Roper is trying to do that. Marcus St-Hilaire concedes the penalty. And Roper takes it quickly. And that's not a bad kick from John Roper either. St-Hilaire just wanting a second bite, and they're up to that Giants 20. Centurions need a try now if they're going to come back into this game.
But they can't do it individually, it needs a collective effort, Bill.
Here is Whittle. Whittle and Roberts colliding again. This time it's fair and above board. Here is Matautia. Matautia tackled just short of that line. It was McNamara who got a hold of him. Plenty of tackles to go, and Baldwin, that was forward from Duffy. And Paul Terzis sees a second great field position go begging. Duffy just... Oof, that was a tight call.
He only just got over the line too. Pretty good effort from him.
It was a tight call.
You do have to feel for Paul Terzis. Oh, it's got to be a killer. Huddersfield, you've got to admire too the way they're willing to play with the ball. They've lost it though. Wow, what do I know? Now then, rolling. What can he do?
Great opportunity again. Oh, and Swans knocked that back, says Carl Kirkpatrick.
Have to keep the ball alive, Bill, if they're going to score. One-man forays won't get them over or through this Huddersfield defence.
Whittle makes a one-man foray. You wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that one-man foray. Oh, and he's lost the ball, and it's scooped up, and here is Roberts. And Isherwood hurls himself at Roberts and finds himself flat on his back.
Oh,
that's going to be a penalty, I think, to Leigh, to Huddersfield Giants.
Didn't look like an illegal tackle, Bill, did it?
Remember what I said? Take him over then.
Rob Roberts, as so often is on the receiving end, and there was an elbow raised in there.
It was.
Oh,
say that again, Jerry.
That was Isherwood, and Andrew Isherwood is getting called out now, and he could be in trouble here.
It's hardly surprising, Bill. You must become so frustrated. Less than 15 minutes to go. 22 points behind. You can't get your hands on the ball. And the guy started an almighty brawl for nothing with you about 15 minutes ago.
I think this is going to go on report.
Hey! Do you know, I think Carl Kirkpatrick will think this is amazing if he finishes with 26 players on the field at the end of it.
Well, Andrew Isherwood is, as expected, going to find himself on report. And he really went in on Rob Roberts there, and Roberts is very lucky to come out of that. What do you think, Paul?
Well, Rob Roberts plays it tough, doesn't he? And I think Andrew Isherwood is very, very fortunate he's still on the field at this point in time. But all that momentum seems to be swinging with the Giants. Leigh are absolutely desperate just to get some kind of final foothold. But it's all getting very, very petulant. Feet, elbows, everything's being used. Carl Kirkpatrick has a job on his hands just to keep control of this.
And the Giants unhappy with something Paul Rowley did there.
I think it looked like a kick, didn't it? Which was very surprising from Paul Rowley. He's not usually that type of player. Do you know, Kirkpatrick looks like the referee in a WWF match, doesn't he? He's got a lot more guys in the ring. Kicks with the right leg, doesn't he, there? What he was trying to do, I'm not sure.
I understand what you say. You were trying to leg him up.
It's a right foot kick.
You actually kicked him. You kicked him.
And I think Carl Kirkpatrick is giving Paul Rowley the benefit of the doubt there, suggesting he was trying to do a Tommy Martin maybe, a Cumberland throw.
Well, he lives in Leigh, and I think so does Tommy Martin. He might need to show him how to do that the next time.
There you go! Well, what, really?
Here's Chris Molyneux for the Giants. Now another Giant try here would, I think, really wrap this one up for the team from Huddersfield and secure their place in Super League next season. That ball's been lost by Andy Rice.
You can tell that Carl Kirkpatrick knows there's going to be trouble because he's tending to referee the game from around the play the ball area. He knows that every single tackle there's likely to be some incident. Ball squeezed out and Leigh have won it.
Well, Leigh really don't need to be spending their time getting into disputes. They want to be up the other end of the field.
Well, they won't throw the tackle in, but there's probably some long memories.
And Crabtree has conceded another 10 metres for Batchat there. Original penalty just for holding on to Dale Cardoza, and then he said something to Carl Kirkpatrick. Baldwin takes a big tackle. And offside against the Giants. Well, this is really handing Leigh territory on a plate, and they are going to try and make the Giants pay.
It's very hard not to know where to go back to, though, if the ref doesn't take you back, Bill.
Got a touch judge to refer to, haven't you?
Well, their job isn't to take you back 10 metres. That's the ref. Hamilton's over.
And John Hamilton will get the try, but did he get that ball down? He did. Giants disputing that one. And there is life left for Leigh yet. John Hamilton with the try.
Well, both him and Paul Rowley all year have been good at scooting over from the acting half-back position. It's his first drive for the Leigh Centurions, and a good time to get it. Stanley Jean just slips off the tackle. All the Huddersfield players pointed at something or other. Can't quite see what it was, maybe interference, but I wouldn't be bothered if I was Leigh. Get the ball back, get it kicked at goal, and get the game going again.
Yep, John Hamilton's first try of the season. And Neil Turley hasn't had a good day with the boot. They need these 2 points from the Leigh Centurions full-back. He's kicked that one. This one isn't done yet. Huddersfield 32, Leigh Centurions 16. They're not going to give this one up.
Time and time again in a game of rugby league, we see a team score a try and then score straight again in the next set of 6. That's what Leigh have to do now, Bill. Certainly a caution to the wind now. You can do that in a structured manner, having plenty of guys around the ball player in support.
The Giants are feeling for obstruction there, but I think really they've got to look at their defence, which just sort of switched off then, didn't it?
Momentarily so. Too many gaps appearing. Kirkpatrick, we want to have it 10 minutes still to go. To get plenty of guys supporting the ball. One-man runs won't help you.
Baldwin drives the Centurions up to the 20-metre line. Now here's Rowley. Duffy. Hamilton, the try scorer. Cardoza. And Cardoza is tracked back. That was great work from Steve McNamara. Here is Vila Matautia, and Matautia takes him on. Back from suspension, Matautia. Could this be his last game in British Rugby League? And Stanley Jean went for the interception. The ball's still loose, and it will be a knock-on somewhere along the line.
Well, I thought it came off Stanley Jean's knee. That's what the Huddersfield players are saying as well. Yeah, it was my knee. It was my knee. Well,
he's right. Then off his thigh, yep. But then I think...
Oh no, he doesn't knock on again. It won't matter at the moment. He'll get the ball.
Willie Swan got a knock on the head in the process, and he's just getting a bit of attention. Former junior Kiwi and Samoan World Cup player Willie Swan in his second spell at Leigh Centurions. Here is Leon Felton.
Steve McNamara's had a big game for Huddersfield tonight. Defensively, he's kept them solid in the middle. When they've needed to, he's put some good deep kicks in. Played the field game well.
He's kicked 6 from 7 as well for the Giants, and that could be critical in the outcome of this game.
Like a central midfield player, isn't he? He's just involved in everything at the moment.
4 tackles gone. Hamilton is brought down. Rowley, bit of urgency about this Leigh Centurion side. Duffy, little kick for Ollie Marnes to chase. Marnes is powering through on that. Cooper is leisurely about it, and Marnes collars him. He wanted the ball, but he's got Ben Cooper instead.
Well, the Leigh fans are screaming for obstruction, a penalty to the side. They'll get him back in the end goal area. What an effort. Oh, he's offloaded to Thorman.
Well, that was brave.
Thorman,
very brave.
He's got out to the end goal. It wasn't brave, Bill. It was good play. Good play from Chris Thorman to get back and help his fullback. Too often when a player's in trouble, they just leave him to it. Not Chris Thorman.
And David Atkins, just the sort of run you want from your second row at this stage in the game, in this situation.
Kicked. They've gone for the shift. They'll get them for the numbers here. Big overlap.
Hallis now. He's got Marcus St-Hilaire outside him. Now then, St-Hilaire puts his foot down. He's going to take on Neil Turley. He's going to take them all on, but it's just a little ankle tap. Great work it was from Willie Swan. It needed to be from Swan, and the penalty, I think, will go to the Huddersfield Giants. And Bristow is going to go to the sin bin. And a dejected expression on the face of the loose forward for Leigh Centurions, Adam Bristow, the former Illawarra Steeler. Just
it's the first
messing around.
Yeah. This you see here, what a wonderful player there. He gets back. How did he offload that then? O'Hare to Thorman. And good footwork, dances around. Bristow gets into the goal area. Hallis's break. Wonderful play from Saint-Hilaire. There's not a lot really Leigh could do here. They get back and they sort of trying desperately to hold him down. Bristow again. And as he goes off, I think with him go Leigh's hopes of another year in Super League. It's a late shot there on Hallis from Roper. The eyes almost closed. Battered and bloody affair. Steve McNamara's got the chance just to beat up the clock and add 2 more points.
Great goal-kicking performance from Steve McNamara. A grand finalist with the Bradford Bulls in 1999. Named in the NFP All-Star team this week. And the Giants supporters ready to celebrate. They haven't had an awful lot to celebrate over the last few years. And Steve McNamara has blotted his copybook. He has got the ball dead. And Huddersfield will get it back. But he'll be annoyed about that. Will Steve McNamara.
Well, I read in midweek, Bill, that the Giants' mission statement was to become the Giants of Super League. Tonight they've just taken their first step towards doing that after a very difficult 12-month campaign. They played 38 games to get here tonight. It's a big, big ask. And they'll be mightily relieved that they've come away with a win.
Jeff Wittenberg there, back on the pitch, son of the former Australian Test front rower, John Wittenberg. And here is Chris Molyneux.
To Molyneux. Again, you see some good offloading between the Giants players.
Jean, back to Hallis, seems to have recovered from that knock. Thorman picks that ball up. Takes some putting down. Hamilton eventually brings him down. Steve McNamara. Time ticking away now. 5th tackle. McNamara will take his time. And Huddersfield Giants, relegated last year, looking to be the first side to make it straight back to Super League at the first attempt. And it looks as though they're going to do it, crowning a magnificent season. It can be done. Workington and Oldham, who dropped out of the elite competition, haven't been so fortunate. But Huddersfield Giants staked everything on bouncing back, retained the coaching team, retained the playing staff full time, and it has paid off. Leigh Centurions have also been similarly motivated.
Bill, the Widnes side had several years out of Super League, and in many ways it may have done them good. They've come back a stable and solid club with strong foundations, and I think that might also happen for Huddersfield. They'll have learned from the time. Now they'd be very interested just to see how they do next year in Super League.
Well, they've already started planning for it, because Jim Gannon has been signed from Halifax. Meanwhile, Heffin O'Hare will get his second try, or will he? Because Cardoza means to chase him down, but O'Hare gets there. His second try of the game. That wraps it up. The party can start for Tony Smith and his team and the Huddersfield supporters. And the little Welsh winger gets a try and a touch of cramp for his pains.
Well, just to please the Huddersfield Giants fans, any Welsh fans watching will also be happy with that. Again, Paul Rowley not happy. It's hardly surprising. He's tried so hard. He's involved in everything in the last 10 minutes. Paul Rowley defensively. Big fend on Duffy, and too much speed even for Cardoza coming across. Likely to feature in the Welsh side that plays against New Zealand on the 3rd of November down at the Millennium Stadium. With form like that, will delight and excite the Welsh fans. Now then, a water bottle thrown from the Leigh player. I think it's hit Steve McNamara on the back of on his back. Touch had just seen it, and I suspect the Leigh player will probably be dismissed here.
Well, I think it was David Bradbury. Steve McNamara can afford to smile about it. And Carl Kirkpatrick, I don't think, is going to take any further action on it. Frustration boiling up for the Leigh Centurions.
Well, I'll be hoping, I'm sure, Carl, that Steve McNamara takes about 3 minutes with his kick so that it's the end of the game.
Well, there was so much at stake here. Place in Super League. And it means so much to these players. They have slogged it out for a year. December last year, this NFP season started. Okay, they had a break for the Buddies Cup, which Huddersfield incidentally won. But they have battled their way through this situation. And it's the Huddersfield Giants who are going to emerge with the prize of a place in Super League. At the moment, they're ahead by 38 points to 16, with time running out.
And somebody once said, success isn't forever, failure isn't fatal, but it won't feel like that tonight for both sets of fans. There's a lot going on here now, a lot of finger pointing. There'll be a short kick-off here. I don't be surprised if this just kicks off to the biggest fight you've ever seen in your life.
And Graham Hallis takes that ball. The countdown started from the supporters. There goes the final whistle. The hooter has sounded. And thankfully, it doesn't really blow up. There is no need for that. It would be a shame to spoil this contest with that sort of behaviour, and the coaches can at least find time to shake each other's hands. It's the Huddersfield Giants who have triumphed, who have earned their place in Super League next season. They have bounced back from relegation with ultimately a convincing victory, and Goulding and McNamara show that there is sportsmanship out there. And Huddersfield have beaten the Leigh Centurions 38 points to 16. Cause for the Huddersfield Giants coach Tony Smith to celebrate. He's with Rod Studd.
Tony, Huddersfield Giants back in Super League. How does that feel?
Great. Yeah, we're really happy. It was a tough game, real tough game, and full credit to Leigh. They gave us a real scare there. In a lot of our lives, so we've worked really hard for it.
And the second half performance, you just overpowered them in the end.
Yeah, it was pretty good second half performance. We weren't real. No, I'm not going to take anything away from Leigh. They really shoved it to us today. That was their best performance against us today.
Thanks, Tony. Enjoy tonight. Thank you.
And there is the trophy. Well, the silverware will be nice, but you fancy that it's what comes with it that means a bit more to the Huddersfield Giants.
You've mixed emotions, haven't you? You see two guys here at the extremes of probably just how you can feel elation and depression, really, in the Leigh side. You try so hard, you still feel so disappointed. Huddersfield players probably can't believe it. Makes all the work worthwhile when you achieve your goal.
The Giants are celebrating. They have beaten the Leigh Centurions in this grand final by 38 points to 16.
So the Huddersfield Giants are back in the Super League. They took a 12-month gap, and they will be back at the start of next season amongst the elite. And Tony Smith, well, every picture, they say, tells a story, and he has worked hard, tirelessly, and many, many long hours for this moment. Neil Kelly, you were in exactly the same situation as Tony Smith this time last year. What's he feeling right now?
Well, it's just a tremendous amount of relief, really, you know, and a lot of pride. Because, as Tony said, you've worked long and hard for this. They've got a 10-month season, and they've trained in the mud, the sun, the rain, all working towards this achievement today. And there'll be a certain amount of relief and a lot of pride in that they've actually finished the job off.
Carl Kirkpatrick getting his tankard along with his touch judges. And Tony Smith leading the applause for his supporters. Bobby Goulding leading the applause for the supporters of the Leigh Centurions. A game too far for Leigh, the end of it.
Well, congratulations to both sides. That was a fantastic effort. Bodies were put on the line. To be fair, I don't think any of the players from either of the clubs could have given anything else in this match. It was a fantastic effort, great advert for the NFP. Had everything. Great scores, a little bit of rough and tumble. but at this stage, at this level, you know, you have to expect that. You know, there was nothing left from any of the players to give.
Heartbreak for Dave Whittle and Paul Rowley, but for the Leigh players, they'll have to come again. For Huddersfield, they're in the Super League, Steve-O, and it will seem like an eternity since they were last there, but they've gone through this year unbeaten apart from Doncaster in the Cup. Can they do better than they did last time?
Well, I think they will. I think that they've got to go out and maybe purchase 3 or 4 top quality players. Stanley Jean had a great game. It was a good combined effort, and I'm sure that Tony Smith will be very, very pleased indeed with the effort. I think the word composure comes to the top, and he knew exactly what they had to do. He had it all planned out. He knew that Leigh would come with a little bit of rough-out tactics. It was tough out there. It was a great game to watch. A lot of excitement. Everything you'd want for a fan to see in a grand final. But effort, tireless work doesn't always get you the silverware. You need that bit of quality. You need that bit of class. And that's the reason why the fans are disappointed. And that's the reason why this guy knows that he just had that little bit of head with a little bit of class that just made the difference.
Well, they are on the way up for the losers' medals. Always sad, I suppose, for the team that came second. There's Ken Davey in the background, the chairman of the Huddersfield Giants. Now, this fellow, to be fair to him, he has bankrolled Huddersfield this year. He maintained them as a full-time professional outfit. I'm sure they've got other signings in the pipeline for Super League 8. Ivan Cleary of the New Zealand Warriors is one name we know who will be coming to the McAlpine Stadium next year.
Well, it's a success for checkbook football, isn't it, really, this season? And if Salford do eventually get relegated this winter, then maybe they'll get a lot of confidence from this, because I understand they're staying full-time and feel as though they've, you know, Huddersfield have done it this year. They've sort of laid the path for them to follow.
Well, I think it's the fact that, you know, you've got people behind the coach, behind the team, and they've got faith. And he did that. He took a huge gamble. You know, he could have just dissected everybody, just said, well, that's it. We're never going to hit the big time again. He didn't panic. He kept faith with his coach, Tony Smith, and he has produced the goods. He will be very, very happy indeed.
I think you're quite right, mate. You know, I'm saying checkbook football. A lot of people throw a lot of money at teams when they never win a thing. And right. I think they spent it well. And if you watch this game tonight, it's also a success for the coaching of Tony Smith. Huddersfield were well drilled, well prepared, knew what was in store.
Well, there it is. That's the prize that they have been battling for. Not just the trophy, to be fair, but also that coveted place in the Super League next year. And Steve McNamara picks up the trophy from Steve Russell, chairman of the Northern Ford Dealers. Huddersfield are the Northern Ford Premiership champions, and they're in Super League in the year 2003. Fantastic moments for the club, and fantastic moments also for their supporters. By the way, young Chris Thorman, he is the man of the match, and he will pick up the Tom Bergin trophy. And we hope to be hearing from Chris Thorman shortly, but he will be going back to the London Broncos after this match, and that is going to be a big hole for Huddersfield to fill, Paul Cullen.
Certainly is. Well, I think, you know, someone from Huddersfield get on the phone to Neil Kelly and the Widnes Vikings. They didn't have, you know, that planning for their Super League arrival this year that Huddersfield have had. Huddersfield from day one have set their stall out. They were always on the way back. It may surprise one or two that the Vikings got through at the end of last year. It was on merit, it was a fantastic achievement. But you'd have to say that the Giants have probably planned for it a little bit more than Widnes did last time around. There's a big wake-up call for everyone else in Super League here. Widnes Vikings have took up the challenge and have done very, very well in Super League. And maybe the Giants can push even further.
There's the man of the match. There is Chris Thorman. He's got the Tom Bergin trophy. Let's go downstairs to Rod Studd now, who's with Steve McNamara, the Huddersfield captain.
Steve, well done. I mean, you played in grand finals. How on earth does this compare, this moment in your career?
Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, you know, we all watched the Australian grand final last week, and you know, I know we weren't playing in front of 85,000 or whatever it was, but it's just absolutely amazing. And we've worked so hard all year, and obviously there was that danger we slipped up at the final hurdle, but we're just so determined for it not to happen, and just absolutely, you know, over the moon.
12 months hard work and it's paid off.
Oh, it's been a marathon season. It's been a real long workout, and we just keep going away week after week, and tonight's just icing on the cake for us.
This is your job. got the silverware. Let's go on to the... Cheers, Steve, all the best. Chris Norman, man of the match. Well, you're blooded but unbowed, Chris, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't care about my looks. This is the best feeling I've ever had in my rugby league career. I don't know it's a short career, but honestly, you can't beat this feeling. You know, all these people over here, all these people behind me, have done it for them. You know, they've stuck through us, through thick and thin, and this is for them.
A promotion, man of the match, and a try. Can't be better than that, can it?
No, I don't know. I might get drunk tonight, and then it'll top it off nicely.
Well done, Chris.
Thank you.
Well, I hope he goes quickly into that melee of players, because that will be something for his scrapbook for years and years to come. Huddersfield celebrating their success here at Wooders tonight. Steve McNamara there holding the trophy, saying he watched the Australian Grand Final in front of 85,000. All right, there wasn't 85,000 here tonight at the Holton Stadium, but a record crowd for this event. I think it says a lot about the fact that it is at Widnes, Neil, because this stadium deserves big occasions.
Yes, it's a tremendous stadium for rugby league. Yeah, we'd like to get the stadium finished off on all four sides. That would really make it a fantastic stadium. But just the right size stadium for what is a great final.
Right, let's hear from the beaten coach, Paul Terzis of Leigh. He's next to the mic with Rod.
Paul, it's the worst place in the world to lose a big final. It's tough to take, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, considering the effort that the town's put in, the club's put in, directors and everything. I'd like to thank our supporters for the year. We've had a mixed year, and we thought we could do something special here today, but it wasn't to be.
And there were times when you looked like you were on course.
Yeah, definitely. We had some crucial decisions go against us just before half time, which turned the tables a bit, but you've got to give full credit to Huddersfield. They made us pay again with some errors by us, and again, they're a great team. They deserve to be where they are in Super League next year.
And we know you and the club are now parting company, so just a message to the fans from you.
Oh, look, it's been outstanding. I can't say anything more than the club, but 3 words: thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all it is.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that.
Yes, the end of Paul Terzis' reign at the Leigh Centurions. He will move on, the club will move on, and Huddersfield will move up into the Super League next year. Celebrations that will go on here long into the night. We have more live action still to come for you. There's live World Championship boxing coming up after us here on Sky Sports 1. It's Tony Oki against Andre Kiarsten for the WBU light heavyweight title. Over on Sky Sports 2 at 9:30, live US Tour golf. All the action from day 4 of the Classic, and on Sky Sports 3 now, there's more Speedway for you, live coverage of the GB Championship. That's all to come this evening. Here at the Holton Stadium, Huddersfield are celebrating their return to the Super League. They exited the stage last year. They are back now. They've regrouped, and after 12 months, they're back amongst the elite. They've won here 38-16.
Get used to a better view. The tall car for the tough streets. The extraordinary new Ford Fusion. It's out there.
She avoids talking to him. And he doesn't like talking to her. She doesn't want to speak to him, and he doesn't like talking to him.
Don't avoid talking to businesses on other networks. T-Mobile, everyone 1,000 free minutes. Talk to any business, any network, anytime. T-Mobile. Get more.
And for their next amazing feat, Zurich will advise you on your mortgage and help you sort out your pension, your investments, your car and home insurance, effortlessly. Zurich, making it all possible.
I see trees of green, red roses too.
I see them blue for me and you. What I wonder
I look forward to old age. I never thought I would, but I never thought I'd have one.
I look forward to spending some time in my lovely English garden. The beer wouldn't go amiss either.
I look forward to my kids doing their homework without any fuss.
I look forward to lighting a large fire and burning a purple wig.
I look forward to grandchildren. More grandchildren.
I look forward to summer holidays with my 4 children.
Maybe great-grandchildren.
I look forward to a global effort to ease human suffering and to take care of this planet.
AMP Financial Services.
Do you want a stylish kitchen without paying silly prices? You can at B&Q. Discover our exclusive range of It kitchens. Mix and match handles, legs, doors to create a kitchen to suit your style. We can plan it for free and we can even deliver and fit it for you. And when you spend over £1,000 on any kitchen before the 20th of October, you get this Indesit electric or gas hob and oven for only £174. Don't miss out. You can do it when you B&Q it.
Collect nectar everywhere and enjoy the rewards sooner with Barclaycard.
The Saturday premiere.
You found one of your girls murdered last night.
Criminals with a camera.
This is a great feeling.
Make killer television.
If it bleeds, it leads.
The ratings are rising, but so is the body count.
Dream on.
Robert De Niro, Edward Burns, Kelsey Grammer. Some people will go to any lengths. Action. For their 15 minutes. Tonight at 10, Sky Movies premiere.
Just let's wrap up the details of this Huddersfield Giants success for you. 38 points to 16. St Hilaire and O'Hare with 2 tries. Thorman and Jean. McNamara the 7 goals. On the other side, Cardoza, Mans, Hamilton, Turley with 2 tries. What a team in Super League, and the Huddersfield Giants are on their way. Hefin O'Hare, I understand, the Welsh international, is with Rod Studd.
Well, that was quite a night, wasn't it? One to savour, one to celebrate.
I'm just so happy for all the lads. I don't know, they've worked so hard all year, and it's just glorious with this outcome and how we've done it, and it's just unbelievable.
And 2 tries for yourself. I mean, you'll treasure the second one particularly, I should imagine, won't you?
Treasure anything on a day like this. You treasure anything the boys do. It's just unbelievable. The crowd, the support, all my family's here. It's just a great moment for me.
And as I said to some of the other lads, it's such a difference from 12 months ago. The emotions couldn't be more contrasting.
It's just unbelievable. Words can't explain it. It's just too much emotion for everybody. It's in there. It's just going to be a party for days. It's brilliant.
Let you go and enjoy it.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
See ya.
Well, he was full of it, wasn't he? And there we are. They are the champions, 2001-2002, and Tony Smith and his team will celebrate this success all night. I know they've got a big do planned in Huddersfield tomorrow afternoon as well, when the team will be going home and with their coach celebrating with their supporters down there in the town. Steve McNamara, the captain. Well, end of the season for the Northern Ford Premiership. Huddersfield are up there. I'd just like to clear up 1 or 2 things, Neil. First of all, this bit that you touched on before about the chequebook and the fact that Huddersfield are there. Now, there is a lot of ill feeling, I know, amongst the rival clubs in the Northern Ford Premiership that Huddersfield were given the parachute payment, but they had to be given that parachute payment in order to be able to pay all of their debts and all of their contractual obligations that they were left with when they fell out of the Super League. It had nothing whatsoever to do with the team that was out here tonight.
No, I think the parachute payment's there to maintain the development programmes that Super League clubs have had up and running, and I don't think it's anything to do with parachute payments. It's facilitated Huddersfield enabling to be full-time. That's got everything to do with Ken Davey backing the club with his own money, and I'm sure any other club in the Northern Ford who had a benefactor like that would actually take the opportunity to be full-time themselves. So it's a little bit of envy, but what it has done, it's obviously Huddersfield have gone through the division like a hot knife through butter this year, and it's given a bit of a lopside. The rest of the competition's fairly level. Just Huddersfield are head and shoulders better than any other team in the comp.
Well, he says that, Steve, but last year Leigh won it by 9 points. They finished league leaders by 9 points. Huddersfield this year only leaders by 10 points. So,
well, we said before, it doesn't matter what happens in the build-up to it. This is the one that counts, and they came away with the goods. And I think that in regards to the chequebook situation, full credit to the players as well. As Steve McNamara made it quite clear, he said, look, he said a lot of our players, in fact all the players, have taken a pay cut. Now there's not many people in professional sport that will do that, and I think it's wonderful that they've gone to Ken Davey and said, look, if we're going to go back into the big division, then we've got to be sensible about it. I wish a lot more sports and a lot more clubs would be sensible about it, because that's the reason why they get into trouble. He's obviously a good business person, and he obviously has said to the players, and the players, good credit to them, they've said, yeah, we'll play ball.
Indeed, and Paul, I suppose in many ways, it's a marker that's been laid down for the Salford City Reds, who sadly now we have to say farewell to for next year. But if they regroup under John Wilkinson, who himself is a very, very astute businessman, they can do this in 12 months' time.
Well, the Reds are now in the throes of this parachute payment, speaking to players who are on big, good, Super League contracts. They have been offered, I believe, reduced contracts for next term. It's a fine balance, but the Giants are there on merit, and I've been a victim of a landslide defeat from the Huddersfield Giants. But the parachute payments have only come back in since promotion and relegation has come back in. You can't have everything, can you?
No.
It's promotion and relegation is, I think, great for rugby league. We could have been a victim at Warrington this year. It certainly heightens the intensity and interest in rugby league. You're never going to please everybody all the time.
That's right.
It's a fact of life.
Sorry, Eddie. I think it's important that the money only gives you the ability to assemble a side. Every player that's been interviewed from the Huddersfield team this evening after the game has focused on how hard they've had to work. The money enables you to assemble a team. There's still a lot of hard work and coaching to be done in that 12-month period to get to this point, and I think that's the point. That's the main thing we should be focusing on.
Absolutely, and well done to the Huddersfield Giants, because they have made it back into Super League. They've gone through the season unbeaten. Only one club took a point off them, Whitehaven, coached by a certain Paul Cullen. That was way back in the frost and snow of January.